Hey everyone, thought I might just showcase some behind the scenes of how we do our development and how this bird gets built. We have very realistic flights, so this model is super important. And so I have this world built in. It's not really publicly available, but it's a little volleyball world where I do my testing for how these birds get modeled, because it not only affects like how it looks, but it also affects how the flying works. So let me go into first person view. I can just kind of fly around up here. There's birds, a bunch of birds here. These are my little like bird recordings. These are super fun. They basically test each move to make sure there's no like weirdness in certain movements. This guy's stretching, this guy's doing some weird like hugging move. Some birds moving around, this one jumping up and down. So these are static, just to make sure the models work by themselves. But when I fly, it's a bit hard to tell. Maybe if I show the third person again, when I fly, you can see that the bird model kind of changes a bit. So going forward, this is super important to make sure that the movement is very smooth and also works well like for bird flight. Because these wings actually, they're not just for show, they actually use to model how the real world physics works. So if I go back to first person, these little guys, they're basically just non-stop doing the same thing over and over again. So how I record it, I have this little feature. If I press it, I can kind of fly around and I'll see where I started off. And I'll just fly back up here. And then kind of when I'm close, I just like make it loop. So you can see it's going around and round in circles. There's some birds here testing like directly going down. This kind of thing is super important, but I don't want to have to like, do the same thing over and over again. So these recordings just check to make sure everything is working smoothly. So I think it's pretty cool. Now I'm just flying around. The reason why I chose this volleyball world is because I play a lot of volleyball. So helps get the sense of scale, get a sense of speed of like how fast the bird is actually flying. And in this case, I'm actually super fast. But it's always a balance of like how fast you should be flying versus in real life for a bird, versus what's like, fun in game. I think people like to fly pretty fast. And I have this little ball. This is my volleyball. I can play around with it. But basically, it's just a bunch of stuff in this world that makes it easy for me to test things. This little fish is just floating here. I can grab it. I grab it with my index trigger, and then if I press the other one, I'll just eat it. Just make sure everything's working. I always like to come here. Like I said, not really something that we're exposing for our game. It's more just for testing. It's kind of fun. I think it's cool to see. Anyway, I hope that was interesting.